may push away those who try to be good to them, become emotionally or physically abusive to their partners, or continue a pattern of being abused, subjecting their own children to witnessing abuse, or, worse, being abused themselves. Former abuse victims may repeat the cycle of abuse by emotionally, physically, or sexually abusing their own children, or may abandon their children because they can't take care of them. It wasn't your fault. We'll explore such manifestations of shame in a way that will help you understand yourself and your behavior better. Such understanding can allow you to forgive yourself and, finally, to rid yourself of the shame that may have crippled you in many ways. The truth is that for most victims of abuse, shame is likely one of the worst effects of the abuse or neglect, possibly the very worst. Unless they are able to heal this debilitating shame, they will likely continue to suffer many problems in life. How shame affects victims of abuse. If you were a victim of childhood abuse or neglect, shame can affect literally every aspect of your life, from your self-confidence, self-esteem, and body image to your ability to relate to others, navigate intimate relationships, and be a good parent. From your work performance to your ability to learn new things or care for yourself. Shame is responsible for myriad personal problems, including self-criticism and self-blame, self-neglect, self-destructive behaviors such as abusing your body with too much or too little food, alcohol, drugs, or cigarettes, self-mutilation, or being accident-prone, self-sabotaging behavior such as starting fights with loved ones or sabotaging jobs, perfectionism, based on fear of being caught in a mistake, believing you don't deserve good things, believing if others really knew you, they would dislike or be disgusted by you, people-pleasing, tending to be critical of others, trying to give shame away, intense rage, frequent physical fights or road rage, acting out against society, breaking rules or laws, repeating the cycle of abuse through victim behavior and/or abusive behavior. Victims of child abuse are typically changed by the experience not only because they were traumatized, but because they feel a loss of innocence and dignity, and they carry forward a heavy burden of shame. Emotional, physical, and sexual child abuse can so overwhelm a victim with shame that it actually comes to define the person, keeping her from her full potential. It can cause a victim both to remain fixed at the age he was at the time of his victimization and to repeat the abuse over and over in his lifetime. Shame is at the core of every form of abuse. It deeply informs the behavior of both abusers and victims. Shame drives the cycle of abuse in several ways. Shame can keep former victims from believing they deserve to be treated with love, kindness, and respect. One result is that they may stay in abusive relationships. Shame can cause former victims to believe they deserve to be treated with disrespect and disdain. Shame can cause a person to humiliate and degrade his partner or children. Those who abuse others are often trying to rid themselves of their own shame. Shame can cause emotional outbursts, fueling the rage that triggers abusiveness. Shame from childhood abuse almost always manifests itself in one or more of these ways. It causes abuse victims to abuse themselves with critical self-talk, alcohol or drug abuse, destructive eating patterns, and/or other forms of self-harm. 2/3 of people in treatment for drug abuse reported being abused or neglected as children. It causes abuse victims to develop victim-like behavior, whereby they expect and accept unacceptable abusive behavior from others. As many as 90% of women in battered women's shelters report having been abused or neglected as children. It causes abuse victims to become abusive. About 30% of abused and neglected children will later abuse their own children. Facing the problems that shame has created in your life can be daunting. You may be over